Hey everyone, and welcome to This Week in People, your weekly roundup of some of the top news and trends and developments in all things people. The show is sponsored by my friends at PIN, so thanks so much for the support, and let's dig right in. All the articles I'm going to walk you through, as usual, are going to be, the links to these will be listed in the show notes, so definitely recommend you checking out all of them there. And let's dig right in. I want to open with this great resource from Maddie Cross on Medium. It's primarily aimed at seed to Series A round startups and venture-backed companies that are in that early growth phase, but some really practical and useful tips on how to thoughtfully build a TA function within that early stage scaling company. This was an interesting article from The Guardian on Salesforce's thinking around kind of work constructs. We talk a lot about, obviously, the shift to remote. That gets the headlines. I think what's equally as important is that we're talking about the nature of work itself, the construct of work. The relic of 9 to 5 for many of us is no longer really relevant. And so this article does explore that a bit in terms of Salesforce's approach, particularly as they plan to move to more of a hybrid construct when it is safe to return to offices. Gitlab is, again, you probably know from watching the show, is one of my go-tos on all things remote. This was an interesting Fast Company article. One of their editors took one of GitLab's courses in Coursera around designing remote work and gave her feedback on that. I believe the course is $45. Great value for a very in-demand resource that we're all experiencing right now. So you can get links to all of that in the article. And this interview with Zillow's CEO, I found interesting and a really important point to underscore. The vast majority of our companies who have the ability to have employees work remotely will likely be moving back to some sort of a hybrid structure when it's safe to return to an office. And we really have to be careful about how we design our operating rhythms and our operating systems to, be oriented towards all remote employees, whether you're in an office or not. Again, if hybrid is one of the more difficult constructs to actually manage effectively. And the worry is a lot of companies who used to be co-located are now going to move to hybrid, but they're going to have all of their kind of operating policies, rhythms, communication styles, et cetera, still oriented around co-location. And in doing so, you really create two classes of employees, with the people who are able to come into an office at a natural advantage. And so definitely something to be mindful of as we're designing our future work structures, whether it's all remote, hybrid, et cetera. As a best practice, design as if everybody is remote. That way it levels the playing field regardless of whether you can come into an office or not. This article from HBR probably applies to all of us. Becoming a data-driven company is difficult. This piece isn't actually oriented specifically at HR leaders, but there's a lot of relevant takeaways for us, especially any of us who are working to kind of level up our people analytics capabilities within organizations. Itamar Goldmans is a friend and somebody whose work I really appreciate. He is a very deep thinker on all things recruiting, talent, and people, and his most recent post to Medium is a great illustration of that. Hopefully we've all moved beyond hiring for culture fit. We're talking more about culture add and values alignment. And this piece actually gets into how to structure an interview process that actually does illuminate values alignment and gets into some of the key things that and stories on prospects so that you can get a feel for how those values align or don't with your own organization. So worth a read and a bookmark and probably a share to your hiring managers. And then this article, this is actually an article, a podcast, and an initiative. Some of the latest work from Josh Berson. He recently announced the Global HR Capability Project, and this piece gets into that. And, Josh has been a leader in this field for years, and I'm really excited to see what his plans are in building this. And I'm actually looking forward to having a conversation with him about that next week. So the Redefining HR Fireside Chat book launch series continues next week with an intimate conversation with Josh Berson. We're going to talk about that capability project. We're going to talk about his perspective on all things HR, where things are heading, where some of our bigger gaps are, and really where the opportunities are as we continue to kind of design what our new function, our new priorities, and our new impact to the business will be as we move beyond the pandemic. So really excited for that conversation. There's a link to RSVP in this summary. So if you're interested, be sure to RSVP. Live seats are capped at 150. I will be recording the event, so if you can't join us live, I'll make that available afterwards, and you can check it out. But that's definitely something you won't want to miss. And there'll be opportunity for an interactive Q&A as well. So attendees who have questions for Josh, we're going to cover as many of those as we can. And then lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who took the survey last week on the new Redefining HR Accelerator cohort-based curriculum that I'm in the process of developing. The feedback has been tremendous. And so I'm really thrilled to see the appetite that exists for this kind of peer collaborative learning. I'm definitely going to be building this. So if you missed the deadline of last Friday for the first alpha cohort, I left the survey up because now that I am going to be moving forward with this, I want to capture more intent and interest. So if this does sound like something that is interesting to you, you can learn a little bit more about what's involved and what will be covered and what to expect in the description of the program. And then obviously, as I begin developing and launching these, I'll have much more details on specifics. So thanks so much for the support. Really excited to learn with all of you. And that is a wrap for today's show. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you next week.